Are integrative doctors covered by insurance? That is the question I get probably the most out of any question. But first, my name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a holistic doctor in family practice. I hold 6 degrees in my field, and they're all in the natural healthcare space. And I am a drugless doctor by choice. And so, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the role of insurance. So, I believe it was Thomas Edison that said, the doctors of the future will give no drugs, and they will interest their patients in the human frame, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't recite the quote, but I'm sure that you are aware of it or you've seen it around because it is a very beautiful quote. And he actually said that when the first HMO started. So he could see, even the founding fathers could see how health insurance was going to impact healthcare. So when you're dealing with an insurance company, okay, so you are paying the insurance company to insure you, just like with your car insurance, right? So I use this analogy all the time. Your car insurance, it's there for if you get into an accident, a catastrophic emergency. If God forbid, if I have a major car accident and I have to be rushed to the ER, it's to help me so that I don't lose my home or my physical assets. It's not there. I don't use my health insurance to change the oil and do my tune-ups and rotate my tires and change all of those out. Those are not what my health insurance is for. And oftentimes, unfortunately, people do use their health insurance like that. So they're expecting for their health insurance to pick up where their bad habits have left off. And unfortunately, that won't work. I personally did work with insurance companies up into 2012 when I decided to let them go, mostly because the billables just didn't work. They took forever. Also, too, there was a lot of red tape, meaningful use, and there's a lot of regulations to insurance that patients don't realize that providers have to go through on the back end. And while it may seem like a benefit to the patient, in that doctor-patient relationship, what happens with the providers are that the providers are often overworked. They're not allowed to do certain things. If they go, hey, I need to send this patient to an MRI, they have to go through all of these loopholes, which unfortunately may or not benefit the patient, right? If you know that the patient needs a certain diagnostic or needs a certain treatment and they're not able to access that because of insurance company red tape, that timing can really impact your patient care, because if you don't have the proper diagnostics that you need in order to make a recommendation, that really creates a burden on both the provider as well as the patient. And also, too, insurance companies often play games in terms of, they may say, oh, 1 minute we'll cover this, and then the next minute they'll say, no, we don't cover it. They send a bill to the patient's upset at the provider, not at the insurance company. And so providers have to now have 2 full-time jobs, where the first full-time, that is if they're in private practice, the first full-time job is actually treating the patient in the compounds that the insurance company gives them, which is not very little or not very much. Actually, they require them to see patients, a certain number of patients, a certain amount of time. And it's really just a numbers game. You're having to get a certain amount of patients in. Some people have good insurance, some people don't have good insurance, and you're just going through the gamut. It's almost like the Hunger Games. And then you have the patient who is experiencing all of this from the other end, and they're frustrated because they're not able to get the care that they need. They're upset at the providers, even though it's really the insurance company who's in the middle of the doctor-patient relationship. So it's incredibly important to remove as many people. I know now, especially after the last few years, I try to keep as many people out of the provider room as possible, try to keep health insurance companies and the government and human resources people. You're constantly trying to protect the sanctity of that doctor-patient relationship. And in my opinion, it really doesn't work in a system where you're teaching people how to get well, because whereas an insurance company is only going to look at 15 minutes worth of time, I spend 30 minutes with my patients. And I'm able to do that because I'm able to cash pay and I'm an out-of-network provider, and I'll probably stay that way. Now, a lot of times people like that removes access for a lot of people. And while that may be true, it also makes it so that it's an investment in your health. And so I have plans. I am a concierge doctor, so I charge a flat fee. I have care plans that are as little as $65 a month, all the way up to care plans that are over $300. Obviously, the healthier that you are and the less care that you need is going to be the lower options. We do provide a lot of value for that. Whereas those higher care plans, I'm doing a lot more. I'm having to really go to bat for you. I'm working with specialists. I'm seeing you more often. I'm really keeping my pulse on you because unfortunately you're not well. And then in my practice, the way I designed it very consciously was that as patients were getting better, they were stepping down plans until eventually they left the practice. So it was designed to really keep my balance and my health, while also too keeping the balance and also the responsibility of the patient's healthcare on the patient as well, because we as providers cannot live in poverty to treat patients. I know people think that as a provider, we should just give away services for free. That is not healthy. That is not what I would want any provider that I work with. I contract handymen and plumbers and painters and mechanics and various other professionals. And I value the work that they do. And I go to them and I don't expect them to give me discounts. I don't expect them to give me free services. I don't expect anyone to work for free. I understand that there is an ingrained aspect that we believe that healthcare providers and healers were servants to the people. And while that may be true, I also can't be teaching people how to value and honor and love and find their self-worth while also not honoring and value and finding my self-worth. So there's this balance, right? There's this balance with being able to provide value and being able to provide service while also being able to support yourself and honor yourself for the work that you've done. Going through education, like I said, I have a lot of education in my field, hundreds of certifications, and I've spent my entire life studying. And so there has been many sacrifices along the way. And because of that, patients can come in, and if they try to do this on their own, it would take them forever to figure out what the root causes are. Based off of all of my education and my systems and all the diagnostic tools that I've built in my practice, I can speed up that time and efficiency so that the patient can get well faster and they can get on with their life and have joy. If a person even has a money block, I've done a lot of work around money blocks, and I can even help patients with that. And that's the advantage of being not only an integrative health provider, but being a holistic health provider, being able to see where the blocks are and being able to assist people in that. You're either going to invest in your health or you're going to subsidize your illness. And remember, your health insurance is there for catastrophic emergencies. It's not there to help you to stay well and to get well, unfortunately. And hopefully you guys understand that, and that quality care does not involve your insurance, unfortunately. And we will see this more and more as time goes on. And so if you've enjoyed this presentation, please share, subscribe, and then comment below with any of your thoughts. Keep it nice, wonderful, and I will see you in the next video.